I mean,
If you find yourself in a situation where that's where you end up, tap into
make the use
make
of that
make
time.
hay while the sun shines.
Yes.
Facts about tax with Faniswa Ndungane. She's back. Good morning. Thank you
Good
for joining us
good
again.
morning. Nice to be here on a Friday.
Yeah,
Just to get the Friday feeling. Yeah.
but we're talking tax. It's not very Friday-ish.
I'll try and make it Friday.
Yes! Yes!
Let's win. Let
Let's
us
win.
against SARS today.
Let's win against SARS today.
Yes.
Today we're talking about dispute resolution, tax dispute resolution. I've been there, and some of you are still going to be there. Not a pleasant process.
Yeah.
Because you're unsure, and also you are taking on the beast here.
You're taking on the beast, but I mean, with a registered tax practitioner on your side.
Yes. So there are people who can help you through this process.
Yes.
You don't. I don't. At the risk of this sounding very one-sided, it's a disclaimer that it's not. You don't want to take this on by yourself.
No.
Generally, it's how they say, if you find yourself arrested, just ask for a lawyer.
Ask for a lawyer.
It's not because you can't tell the real story. That's not what they're looking for sometimes.
Absolutely. And I've actually got a case study of one of my clients who was in exactly that same position.
Wow. Okay.
She came to me frantic, having tried all avenues, and I just resubmitted everything that she had already submitted to SARS. But because I know how to word it, I know how to interact with SARS.
Yes.
But we'll get to
Everything
that.
is a system.
Everything's a system.
So how does dispute resolution come about? What kind of disputes are we talking about here?
So last month was the end of filing season for 2022. And if you've missed that deadline, you are potentially facing an admin penalty, which SARS is going to start rolling out as of the 1st of December.
And they've become much harsher now, no?
They've become much harsher because historically, 2021 and looking back, you could miss at least 2 returns before they administer these admin penalties.
So you knew you had a window. Like, I'll file next year.
I'll file next year. And then next year comes around. It's like, okay, I'll do the
I mean, they didn't chase me down or anything. So,
So now they're saying if you miss 1 return, there will be an admin penalty. And they've actually given you some time to rectify because filing season closed on the 24th of October. It's now the 25th of November, just over a month since filing season closed.
Sure.
And they're only going to start rolling out these admin penalties on the 1st of December. So they've given you a bit of a window to try and rectify. But if by the 1st of December you have not filed your return, then you will have an admin penalty.
And that goes without saying.
That goes without saying. However, this is how now dispute resolution comes into being. So what you can do is on the 1st of December, when you wake up, hopefully you won't leave it till that long. But on the 1st of December, when you wake up to that admin penalty, you might panic and you want to file your return as quickly as possible because now there's a penalty hanging over your head. But now what do you do about that penalty? So that's the first step that I want to look at dispute resolution.
And let's say it's a significant penalty. Like it's something that you definitely weren't planning for and boom, there it is.
Definitely, because these penalties can go anywhere between 250 Rand to 16,000 Rand per month per return.
Oh, per month.
Per month per return. So if you have not submitted your returns for, say, the last return you submitted was 2020, so you've got 2021 and 2022 outstanding, SARS will slap you with a penalty, 2 penalties on the 1st of December, and then again on the 1st of January.
A quick one. When does it become criminal?
It becomes criminal after you let it go for about 3 years because the term is 35 months. On the 36th month, they stop writing you letters and
they hand it over to the law.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
but that doesn't mean wait 35 months. Hey guys,
I can't. Also, you would have accumulated so much.
Yeah.
So how you would then dispute that penalty is you would write to SARS and apologize profusely and then table your grounds as to why you missed the filing deadline. And they need to be reasonable grounds. Either you were hospitalized or you were going through the most, you lost a child, you lost a spouse, and
you were not in a space to
yes,
right. You're not in a capacity to facilitate that. But even then, the natural question that comes up is, but couldn't you let us know?
Sometimes not, because some people
shut down.
Some people shut
Okay.
down. Some people get admitted.
Okay.
A lot of things
Fair
happen.
enough. Some people are not allowed to make outgoing calls.
Some people are in rehabilitation centers.
Some people's calls are recorded. So there's a whole range of reasons.
Yeah.
As long as you know you've got your admission and discharge dates.
Yes, of course. With SARS, they would definitely need
because it's compliance all the way.
Yes.
Okay.
So you'd need to have proof of that, either in the form of a doctor's letter or your admission dates when you were admitted and when you were discharged. And then, so the first step would be to rectify the non-compliance. So the first step would be to file the missing tax return.
Okay.
And then you can fight the penalty. And then allowing your dispute would be at SARS's discretion.
Okay.
Depending on a number of factors, the severity of the case, whether this is a repeat offense, is this something you do
by severity
year?
Of the case, it's like the amount that they are claiming against you.
Yes.
So it's just like $100. A lame excuse will work.
Yeah.
If it's 100,000, not so much.
And then how often do you do this?
Of course.
Do you do this every year? Do you come up with the same excuse?
Is this a serial disputer?
Serial disputer. Yes.
Does this person just take us on for the sake of taking us on? Do they know who I am? I'm the receiver of revenue. Now, what happens now?
So after you've submitted, that one is called a request for the remission of admin penalties. So after you've submitted your RFR, it will go to SARS and they will then make a decision and get back to you on that decision.
Okay.
And that decision is usually then final. In my experience, where I've had to lodge these type of things for clients, I've generally had a positive response from SARS where they have waived the penalty. Also, the caliber of clients that I've had to deal with had really genuine excuses and they were first-time offenders.
And it was a genuine concern, which is why they came to a professional and said, look, I don't know. It's the first time. This is foreign territory for me, but I'm in a bit of trouble that I think you'd be able to help me out of. Ordinarily, what are some of the things that SARS considers when looking at you favorably or not favorably at your case?
They would look at things like, is this the first time or has this happened in the past? And if it has happened in the past, that does not necessarily say that it will play against you. Maybe you missed your tax return 5 years ago and you're missing it again for the first time since that offense. SARS would not say you're a repeat offender, therefore deny the request. So it really depends on the severity of the claim. I mean, if you had lost a child and that's something terrible. I can only imagine how your world just falls apart and you are not able to focus on anything, let alone a tax return that comes once a year and people often forget. So they will look at things like that, your grounds for having missed the return.
Okay.
And they are quite lenient, I found.
Okay. And arrangements can be made, even if you are not successful in turning the dispute around into your favor.
Yeah.
And you say, okay, fine. Guys, you've made your case.
Yeah.
I thought I'd maybe cleared it up for you, but you've explained it. I agree. But I don't have 42,000 Rand right now.
Yes.
Just dumb sucker figure.
Definitely.
And I can't afford to pay it in one shot.
Yep.
And I don't want to leave it until it becomes a problem.
Yes.
What can I do?
Yes. They are very much open to payment arrangements.
Of course they are.
You would just need to be very open about your income and expenditures towards them. And then it's a give and take.
It's a negotiation.
They will recommend an amount, you will fight back, they will fight back, and then eventually settle on an amount.
Are there any extreme cases that that stick out where it's like, I remember this one case where like a dispute where it was hectic?
With a dispute, or
the whole process, I guess.
The whole process where you want to now negotiate a payment arrangement. I've had a couple of clients who want to pay 500 rands towards a 50,000 rands debt. And it's not even going to cover the interest, because you must remember that the interest does not stop just because you have a payment arrangement.
So the formula is off.
Yes, definitely. So we've had some extreme cases, and I've had to say, listen, this is not even going to cover your interest portion. So you are just
and you're only gonna upset the sleeping giant.
Yes.
Okay.
So then the next step with regards to dispute resolution, or another type of dispute that you may want to lodge with SARS is, say you submit your tax return with XYZ figures, and then SARS, because they are SARS, they've got eyes everywhere.
Yes.
They see that you missed by mistake. It wasn't on purpose. You missed to include some of your income.
Yeah.
Or you may have, gone overboard with some of the deductions that you've claimed, obviously by error. I'm trying
not to use the X word. I need to
So after you've submitted your tax return, SARS may fight back and disallow some of your claimed deductions.
Disallow. Reject.
Come on, I'm trying to sugarcoat it.
Get out of here!
Friday. Let's not be honest.
Get out of here!
I'm trying to dance around the issue.
So we humbly disallow you. Get out of here!
So you
tear that paper up and throw it in your face.
So you're sitting with an assessment that you're not too happy with. Sometimes it does happen that you submit your return, which is correct information 100%.
Yeah.
And then you select it for audit, and you just never get around to submitting the supporting documents that were requested. So then SARS will say, oh, well, since you can't prove all of these expenses that you've claimed, we're just going to disallow them, and they issue you with an assessment.
Okay.
So there you can lodge an objection.
To the assessment or to the outcome of the assessment?
You lodge an objection to the assessment. So you go into SARS e-filing and you lodge an objection. You select which line item, because when you select the year that you are objecting to, it will list line item by line item
of that year.
Year, everything that was submitted, and then you select exactly what it is that you are objecting to, and then you are presented with an opportunity to present then your supporting documents, which you may have missed to submit during the audit, and then that goes through to an objection panel within SARS, and then they come up with a decision with regards to that.
Lots to learn. Facts about tax. Yes. And I think it's important that we continue to slowly but surely unpack this, because guaranteed, this is going to be a constant in your journey, in your financial journey. This is going to be a constant. Yeah. You are fortunate to have the likes of Faniswa in your circle, who on a weekly basis comes and just touches on a little bit of it, because there's so much that we're still going to unpack on this. Yeah. It's nothing that you can finish in 1 week. You can't cover it all in one textbook. It's got different approaches. There's no one absolute. Yeah. Definitely. But the fundamentals remain. Yeah. And so we talk about the practical side of things that you can use on a daily basis or an annual basis, on a per filing season basis, whatever your tax understanding is or what your tax necessities are. We try at least to touch on those areas for the benefit, of course, of you at home or at work or wherever you are. It's a Friday.
Yes.
Laptop must value. Laptop must value. Crying home so. So how do they get in touch with you?
It's that time already. Time flies.
It's a Friday. Hello.
I was still having fun with this. And I still wanted to get into my story with the client, but okay.
We can touch on the client.
Okay.
Because it's relevant too.
Yeah. But before we do that, I just want to go through the whole dispute resolution process.
Right.
So after you've objected, say SARS then disallows your objection, and you're still unhappy with that resolution, you can then appeal. And when you
is now appealing the outcome,
appealing the outcome of the objection. And then when you appeal, you can there's 3 routes which you can take. You can either appeal and say, listen, you don't want to take this to court because you don't have the funds, you don't have the time, because that can really drag. So you'd want to settle with SARS. There's some points that you're willing to settle with, and then that process is called alternative dispute resolution, ADR.
Is that like talking with SARS on the side?
Yes.
Like, must Ted.
I'll forgive this.
I'll forgive that. We both said some things we shouldn't have said.
And then the second route, where you can appeal, if you don't want to talk to SARS, you can go to court. And then in the court process, you can either go to the tax board or to the tax court. The tax board will hear cases of R1 million and less. The tax court will hear anything above that threshold.
Summerwell.
To have those kind of problems.
Those kind of disputes.
If you are unhappy with the outcome of the tax court or the tax board or the ADR, you can then appeal to the high court. So then it enters then the legal sort of space.
And we'll take it all the way to the Concord if we have to.
That's correct. And then just to quickly run through the client that I had, she called me frantic. She is owing SARS 380,000 rands. She does not understand why.
It's a lot.
She was a student, and then she is owing SARS, and then she submitted. So I'm like trying to piece everything together, but she's frantic, as you can imagine. Anybody owing the Revenue Authority 380,000 rands. So I go to her profile and I see that it's coming from the 2017 tax period. So it seems like whoever was submitting her tax return was, for reasons unbeknown to me and the client, very malicious, and then submitted that she had earned income of R1 million in 2017. It was taxed, and the pay as you earn was overstated to a point that...
So it put everything off.
Yes. So they declared pay as you earn, which SARS obviously never received. But in this 2017 return, they try to create a scenario where my client would get a huge refund. SARS obviously then looked at their records and they see they did not receive any pay.
Nope, not from me.
They disallowed the pay as you earn, but they kept the R1 million income. So now she's owing tax on the R1 million, and that's how we get to 380,000 rands. And she gave me all of the affidavits and all of her supporting documents that she had sent to SARS. But she kept going to SARS by foot or calling.
It's either that or give me the actual million then. then I'll pay you the 380.
So when I took on the case, she had supporting documents which she had given to SARS, and she had case numbers to indicate that she'd been to SARS on this date, and she met with this person, and she was given this case number up to multiple times. So what I did is I simply went on to e-filing and I submitted an objection. And I said, listen, my client was a student in the 2017 year. She had no income. Here is her academic record. Here are her academic transcripts to prove that she was a full-time student.
And she was an SRC member. And here's her student card. She was the treasurer. Like, what kind of treasurer?
And I just wrote a very nicely, professionally worded letter and submitted all of the supporting documents.
With lots of please and thank yous.
Yes. Submitted all the supporting documents that she had submitted previously. And then SARS came back to ask the bank statements for the full year of the 2017 tax year. So when I asked my client this, she said she only opened her her bank account in August of 2017, which is now already way into the 2018 tax year because that starts on the 1st of March. And so I submitted this to SARS, wrote a very nicely and professionally worded letter again, indicating that my client actually didn't have an active bank account in that year, in that tax year.
Sabawell million cash.
Cohen.
Sabawell.
Imagine SARS is listening to this and now goes back to revisit that decision.
Sabawell, a million cash. A mill with no bank account. Teach me your ways, my dear sensei.
So it was then eventually accepted that there was some kind of either system error or malicious submission by whoever was assisting the people.
Okay.
And we won that case.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's a good one to win.
Yeah.
It's a good one to win. You got somebody out of some really hot water that would have followed her through everything.
Definitely.
Damn. On that note,
380.
Now how do they get in touch with you?
So if you're owing SARS 380.
Hey, listen. If you got a dispute.
Yes. You can call me on 061-874-2546. Email address is info@thetaxcafe.co.za. Across all social media platforms, I am The Tax Cafe.
Thank you so much. We end off our week on a high note. You wouldn't think it comes from taxes.
Definitely.
But we did the Friday tax thing.
Yes.
Like we did it. It happened. It is a thing now. We might just do it again. You could have been anywhere between 9 and 12, but you chose to be here with us. For that, we are eternally grateful. Thank you for making Moment of Truth your 9 to 12 destination. I got to get out of here. But Monday is nog a dag. And until then, take care of yourselves. Until Monday, so we can take care of each other. And
we are extraterrestrial. We are KNI.